Before we really get started, first of all, can my table leaders raise their hands? I want to make sure I have one at every table. I need two. Do I have two at two tables? Do I have two? Two? Can I get one to spread out to one of these tables? Barbara, you may have to jump into one. I think we have these two tables are missing a table leader. Ann or Scott Beachy, can one of y'all move?
You have one. You can do it.
Oh, Leslie can do
did
it.
it
So I
last
just need
week.
one to move. I just need one to move over to, or Deborah, you can. I believe in you, Deborah. Do you think so, or do you want me to send somebody over? Okay. The other housekeeping thing is we know, thank you for coming. Let me just start with that. So we do know that we've had issues hearing. People have told us, especially when it's a big group like this, which I'm very, very pleased with. So I want to offer you this when we break out. You got to listen to all these instructions, table leaders. If your group wants to move, the library is available, the choir room is available, the sanctuary you can spread out in. Some of you can stay here if you can hear better. You want a little more intimate spot. You just have to let us know where you're going so we can tell you when to come back. That's the really important instruction that we need, that you have to do. You have to let us know where you're going so we can bring you back. You're going to the library. So this group's going to the library. Who else wants to move out of here during breakout time? Anybody? Any other group? If you change your mind, let us know. Don't be like Darren Grissom, who won't tell me where he's going. I'll have to go find him. Don't be like that man God gave me to be my senior warden. He's like, this is a travesty. Okay. All right. So we'll get started. Are we all here? No. The gang's all here? Can y'all hear me all right? Jacob, talk. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, that's a good deep voice. Good for you. Okay. So I have with, oh, the Lord be with you.
Also with you.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give thanks for this day, this opportunity to be together. We give thanks for Jacob, for his ministry here, and for him sharing his story about mission service and how he was formed here at St. Luke's. We give thanks for all those years and people that have joined us this morning and for the work and life of St. Luke's as we discover joy, but more importantly, discover one another. That's God's most holy and blessed name. Amen. Amen. All righty, folks. So, Jacob. This is Jacob Liao. They're going to go clap or go, hi, Jacob. Jacob, how long have you been a part of St. Luke's on the Lake?
I think I started coming here when I was about 4, I want to say. So 19 years.
Did you choose to come here at 4?
Well, we did visit very many churches.
Don't say that out loud.
I think my parents specifically picked St. Luke's because they like the people, and I made a couple friends pretty much immediately, including Travis LaValle. Y'all might know him. He's Lorianne and Kirk's son.
And for those who don't know, Lorianne is our children's minister here at St. Luke's on the Lake, so her son. During your time here, what did you do at St. Luke's?
Well, up through elementary school, there were some missions every once in a while we could go on around here in the Austin area. Like I remember one specifically was Church Under the Bridge, where it's a homeless ministry where they'd have church there, and we brought meals and blankets and toiletries to them. And then going into middle school, every year went on the mission trip to Houston and got to serve in Houston. And then moving on into high school, started doing the mission trips out to the different states here in America. Didn't get to go out of the country, unfortunately. And then after that, started coming back and volunteering with the youth group and going on mission trips with them, helping lead Sunday school and other stuff like that.
Yeah,
Vacation Bible School.
Oh, Vacation Bible School.
Don't
Can't
forget
forget
people
people.
that hold you accountable.
Yeah.
You're all going to hold you accountable, so you have to get your story right.
Don't ask everybody
Can you tell us a joke?
We don't have the time.
Okay, good answer. So you did mission. Now tell everybody what you do now with the youth groups.
Well, I'm assistant to the youth minister, Kelsey. So anytime she needs me, I'm out there helping out with youth group and Sunday school. And even if the youth are doing stuff for their school, like I recently went to one of the high schoolers, Adam Thompson. they had like a Bands of America competition recently. I unfortunately couldn't make it to that, but he had a pre-show over at Vandergrift, and so I went and saw that.
Yes, I was gonna say, don't sell yourself short. You do a lot of relationship work. It is powerful. This man right here, young man nonetheless, has a very good relationship with our youth. And sometimes we don't see this. Some of us don't see this, though, showing up to band concerts. Second, when the youth text him at night, choosing to respond when he could just go to sleep, being a part of their lives. Kelsey's the same way. I mean, just the work of youth ministers often goes unnoticed, and we don't know all the things they're doing behind the scenes. So I just want to draw that out because, and I want to get into why you do what you do and why you stick around, because I guarantee you, folks, it's not for the pay. I can assure you of that. But how you've been kind of shaped here at St. Luke's and how you're giving back. So let's back up now. So you went on a mission trip. What was your first mission trip? 6th grade?
Yeah, to Houston.
To Houston. What do you remember about that trip that maybe, because you made a good point of saying you went on this trip and this trip and this trip and this trip. Now, not everybody does that, right? They go on one trip, and that's not for me. What was about that first trip that made you want to go the next year and the next year and the next year?
Well, when I growing up, my brother and sister, I'm the youngest, they all went on the mission trips, and I got to hear how much fun they had and how great it was. And going there and seeing what all they had experienced and experiencing it for myself was a lot of fun. And then going out to the different places where they had served and seeing the people who I was helping really just made me want to keep coming back and doing more.
So say more about that. What did you see? What were the situations you found yourself working in?
Well, the one I can most specifically remember was there's this homeless shelter there. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they'd have people come in, they'd take their laundry, they'd do their laundry and give them scrubs to wear while they're being washed, and then they'd come in and have food, and we'd get to talk to them while they grab their food. We'd go up to them, talk to them while they ate, and just got to hear some of their story and see where they're coming from. And because we don't really think about it a lot of the time when we see our homeless community around, we see them like, oh, maybe give them some food or a little cash if we can, but we don't really think about where they've been or how they got where they are. And so it was great really seeing who they really were.
Yeah, it seems to be that that's really what mission's about. Because what else could you have been doing when you were the time you went on these trips? What are other things your friends were doing you didn't go on the trip? What are other things you could have done with your time besides go and serve people?
Could have been going and playing around the neighborhood. Could have been sleeping very long hours, eating copious amounts of food. All the good stuff.
That's what I have to look forward to with Linux. Copious amounts of food. I'm in trouble. We need to take a moment here. Okay, I'm good. I'm good now. Okay. So yeah, there's so many other things you could do. So why? What made you want to go? Why? Why'd you go?
Well, when you're helping people, like it makes them feel good, but it also makes you feel good. And then they do their best to give back to you while you're giving to them, like serving each other.
And there's kind of an uplifting moment when you realize that there's kind of two-way street, isn't there? You kind of get excited and you kind of come, at least for me, when I've been going and doing things, like you talked about with the homeless, you were able to have relationships with them, you were able to talk to them. It wasn't just about physically doing things, you were actually able to talk to them. And I'm guessing there were some profound conversations you had with them. Pretty wild, probably at your age, to think about some of the things they were going through, doing. Did they impart any wisdom on you that you remember, like, wow, I can't believe someone could go through that? Something stick with you?
Most of what stuck with me is just what they did in the moment. I remember like one thing that specifically stuck with me is we were handing out bread one time. We were doing breakfast, and while they were leaving, we had bread hand out to them. And there was this one guy named Clinton that I had seen the night before on the other side of town in Houston, which I don't know if you'll know anything about Houston, but it's huge. And so he made his way all the way over, and so I got to speak with him again. And this one guy asked for a specific kind of bread that we ran out of. And he kind of got up really close to me, started grabbing on me about it. And Clinton like came up and got the guy away and got him out of there before anything else could happen. And that was really great. And I like to think that he was doing it because there was somebody in his past that he couldn't help. But
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. That's kind of similar to me. You just kind of realize you saw them as human beings in your service, and they saw you. You saw you in distress, and you responded. It's very much a two-way street. So let's pause here, and I want us to break out into our time together. Really focus on that first question. As you get to know each other, you may have already done a lot of this heavy lifting. Get to know each other, talk to each other, hear each other's stories, and then really dive into this first question. And then we'll be back with you shortly.
Well, you know,
All righty, folks, let's come back together. People of the library, where are you? No pressure.
They shut the door.
You said you wouldn't call them out. They shut the door. They said they're not coming back. Is that what they said? That is like small group 101. They're not coming back. We have found- Hey, so glad. Picked up a group member. Hey. Welcome back. That was a little awkward. No, I'm just kidding. There was nothing awkward about it. Welcome back. You're gonna get back to the library soon. And Cole Stacking likes the library for good reason. Okay, so we talked a lot about you going on these trips and helping people, Jacob. Now talk about a time when somebody helped you. What was going on and what was that? What was happening?
Well, when I was, I had to have been 6 years old. I was across the street. There was a kid who was about 5 years older than I was there, and he was playing with his friends. They were on their bikes, and they were about to ride off, and all of a sudden I saw my mom pull up. And, you know, I thought it would be funny, you know, oh, I'm gonna go run with them, hide from my mom. That would be nice and fun, right?
That's your mom today.
Yeah, that's my mom right there. Yeah.
This is great. I'm loving this right now. Keep going.
And so they start riding on their bikes, and I'm barefoot also. And so they're going really fast. I'm keeping up with them more or less. And then after a good 10 minutes of running, you know, I'm tired. I got to start walking. They don't slow down. And then after a while, I can't find them anymore. Trying to figure out, you know, where am I going to go? And so it's nighttime. So
Little detail there we needed.
yeah, it's nighttime. Yes, very dark. And so walking around, it had to have been no later than maybe 8. But I'm walking around trying to figure out where to go. I just start going around the block over and over again. At some point, I cross a kind of busy street, and I end up.
This is great. What busy street was it?
It's
Mom, help us out here. What busy
which-
street did you cross?
It's El Salido's over here, Sunshine's over here. It's this one right here. Not Cypress Creek. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
No highway. No highway.
All right. I'm just trying to put myself here in your non-shoe shoes.
My goodness.
Okay, we'll keep going. Keep going.
Well, anyways, yeah. So I end up about, I want to say, 1.5 miles, 2 miles away from my house at this elementary school, which is not even my elementary school. And so walking around, looking around, and all of a sudden I see this guy. Like there's a couple people out, and I see this guy in his garage on his phone. I'm like, hey, he's got a phone. And so I go, excuse me, sir, I'm lost. Can I use your phone to call my dad? And so he starts freaking out, and he gets me away from his house quick because he doesn't want anybody to get me strange ideas. And he gives me his phone. He tells some people that are around to stick around, and I call my dad. And funny enough, the neighbor answered. The neighbor whose son I was chasing, and she said, "Oh yeah, I know where you are. We'll come get you right now." And yeah.
What happened next?
What happened next?
I can't think on that one.
I don't know. They were just glad to have me home, I guess. Right? I'm glad to have me home, right?
Yeah, he was really good. After you crossed the 183 BOTAC, landed at an elementary school, talked to a stranger, asked for their phone. I mean, wow. I bet you had a big old piece of cake when you got home. Now, what was that? So when you realized you were lost, what did that feel like for you?
Oh, I was scared. I knew when I got home, I'd probably be in trouble. And really, I was just hoping that they'd show back up and help me home before I get grounded for the next year.
And when you found the guy sitting outside his garage, what was going through your mind? Were you relieved that somebody was there?
I was extremely relieved. I was ready to get home. I was tired, all that running, and
Dodging cars on mopeds, I get it.
and I was just glad that there was somebody there that could possibly help me.
Now, tell me this, when you think about that story and what it felt like you needed help, there was no clue where you might have been lucky eventually and found your way home, but for the most part, you were lost.
Yeah.
I mean, at 6 years old, like that's fair. You were lost. You made your kind of decision. Just imagine you barefoot crossing all these streets like this is just, it's a good story.
Well, most of the time I'm walking in the middle of the street, so
This is getting even better. So now we're walking in the middle of the street. This is great. Okay. Now, when you think about that and what that feeling was like, think about the times you went. You were telling me about a time you went to Tennessee, I think it was, and you did this building project. And what were the people's reaction to y'all showing up for that building? Tell us a little bit about that building project. You were doing like front porch.
we were redoing like their entire living room floor.
Living room floor. Say more about what they did for y'all during that time.
Well, at first, they were a little scarce, but like as the week went along, they started interacting with us more, telling us how thankful they were. And they eventually, they had a garden out there. They were giving us vegetables and stuff from their garden, coming out and seeing what they could do to help out with the project, stuff like that.
Yeah, and we remember you telling me, we were talking about this week, you said it was really powerful for you to see people who had very little giving you so much. Is that still true?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, put words in your mouth, but that's what you told me. Because you said they were kind of scarce a little bit, and you told me their floor was really bad.
Oh, yeah, it was real low down, and
Like
then
a half pipe.
yeah, and then the stairs were almost falling down. We had to get a jack and lift it up and put some rocks and stones under it to keep it up while we repaired the rest of the floor.
In the United States of America, right?
In the United States of America.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I say that, I'm not jokingly, but I think sometimes we forget that this is here, it's right here. It happens right in front of our eyes, whether we see it or not. So, but as the week went on, they started to serve you guys. So as you were serving them, they were serving you. What a beautiful image. What did that feel like for them to say, here's our garden, come have some stuff? That brings you a little bit of joy.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, I'm not the biggest vegetable eater, especially back then. But it was good,
You like lettuce and tomato on your burger? I've seen you eat a burger.
Apparently not too closely, huh?
I swear that one time you had at least something green on your burger. I assumed it was lettuce. I don't know, we'll figure that out next time. So I guess we're due for a burger and I'm gonna stare at you eating your burger. And I'll report back. Well, let me go, let's finish out with this, just so they can get back to talking. I do want to talk about this. Has there ever been a time where you were really hesitant to serve?
So whenever I was at the University of Houston, I was walking along one day on the sidewalk, and this guy came up to me, and he said that his car had just broken down, and he was asking for any money or anything that I could help him with. Well, y'all know what it's like being a college student, right? Completely broke. And so I told him I didn't have anything on me. I was getting ready to go pick up a friend, and I just didn't have anything on me right then. And so he followed me for the next 20 minutes, asking over and over again, there's an ATM over there, let's go to the ATM. I was very hesitant to go anywhere with him because I didn't know what was going to happen. And so eventually, I was about an hour late picking up my friend. So he followed me all the way to my car, and I had a bunch of change in there. So I eventually just scooped up a bunch of change and gave it to him. And then he was still pushing me to go to the ATM, and I ended up offering him a ride, and I gave him a ride to the train station so he could go see his girlfriend at work and get some food.
Wow, good for you. I don't think any of us in that room would have done that. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I don't know if I'm heard that one either. You gotta do it. The reason I asked that is, do you think that shaped a little bit of how you view homeless folks in particular? Did you notice that kind of made you a little jaded towards if you saw somebody walking at certain times of night? And did it kind of maybe change it a little bit for you?
A little bit, but it kind of changed because I wouldn't drive back and forth between Austin and Houston much. What I would do is they have a mega bus that goes in between. And so usually when I was coming back, it was on the midnight bus, and I'd get back to Houston around 3 a.m. or Austin around 3 a.m. And whenever I got back to Houston, I'd have to get back to campus somehow, and people were all asleep. And so I didn't know any of the bus routes. So, even though I was hesitant, I'd go and ask the homeless person, hey, do you know which bus goes to this area? And they'd drop everything they were doing. They'd show me what bus. They'd even get on the bus and come with me and make sure I get off on the right stop.
Wow. Good for you. This is gonna be a powerful conversation. And now I'm gonna let y'all go talk. And the thing I'm just gonna add to this is I share similar experiences. And the thing I want us all to take away from Jacob's story and his big heart that I hope you're getting a small view of is that sometimes and for good, I'm not gonna say that for bad reasons. When it comes to mission and service, we've had experiences that shape us. And then we tend to potentially label groups of people as the same as maybe one or two people were at a certain point in our life. And to caution us to not do that. So when we think about mission and joy is found in the relationships that are built. And in the trusting of the fact that other people walking this earth are just like you and me, are children of God. And how we serve them, and how we impact them, and how they impact us. I mean, I hope what you heard in Jacob's stories were very much a two-way street. What Jacob was doing to be with people, but what they were doing for him. Just think for a moment, some of us who have a roof over our head, what would we do at 3 a.m. in the morning? Would we go ride a bus around to make sure a young man gets to where he's trying to get to? Probably not, if we're being honest. So I just say that to us because I think it's important, especially today, maybe even more so than when I started my ministry 12 years ago, that we be very careful about how we label people and how we do that and how those labels impact how we serve and how we see God in each other. So I want to let you go now talk the remainder of the time with the last part of your questions. And how about the joy found in building relationships with people you would never expect? It'd be a lot of fun. All right, thank you. We'll see y'all next week. I have Glenn Malloy joining me. Don't go anywhere, talking your groups, but I always do this before I break you out. Glenn Malloy is going to come share a story to round us out next Sunday morning for our final part of our Joy series. I think just like Jacob, it would be a profound and powerful story of what brought Glenn to baptism here at St. Luke's on the Lake.
But it's not like,